Me talk.
Mic check, mic check. Ricky, Ricky, Ricky. There we go.
Oh,
They can
okay,
hear.
cool. So you were before we got, we reached our hour mark, so they just kicked our kicked our asses off.
Okay.
So you were talking, Tiffany, about, I was just recapping about the importance of intimacy, creating sacred space, healing, and doing the deeper work to vibrate towards the exchange with another individual that is doing that deeper work and sharing together and manifesting. You spoke about you were going into doing the work with a lot of your women who clients, yoni healing. You were going into that before we got disconnected, and you were building on the principles of the work you're doing with the sisters. You want to continue with that, Bill? Remember what you dropped?
Yeah, I was saying that through my work at yonieggs.com, the majority of the women that I service are coming to me looking for some sort of yoni egg to heal their womb because they've allowed something to come inside of their space that, let's see, that damaged them in some sort of way, right?
Mm.
And that's fine. Like, okay, we need to be doing the healing work because it's a learning journey, so there's no shame in the learning. However, at some point, if you want to experience different results, you have to hold the frequency and not allow yourself to keep taking L's, even though you can feel it. So it's like, even in the food journey, at some point you come to a part where it's like, yeah, I know I could eat this Snickers, and then I can go and fast and cleanse, and I can do that work to get that out of me because it's going to make me feel bad. But then at some point you're like, I don't want to do all this shit. I'm just going to say no to the Snickers, and I'm just going to eat this salad instead or drink this smoothie instead. And so our sexual energy has to be looked at in the same way. Like, who you allow into your space. What up, Kiyoshi? Oh, there's feedback. Maybe I should grab some headphones. Hey, no,
Okay.
do you know Kiyoshi?
No.
He's dope. You should get into him.
Okay. Peace, brother Kiyoshi. Peace. Okay, peace to everybody tuning back in. We were continuing the build. We got kicked off the last Instagram because we reached the time limit. We were talking about the importance of doing the healing work and healing our intimate relationships, and using our sexual energy not just for being nasty, but really actually using the sexual energy to work on manifesting our inner work and what we're aspiring to do, and not really wasting it with anybody. I know one point Tiffany Janae said it was dope, is that sometimes you may have to be alone long enough to really just raise your frequency up to a level that you don't have no interference while you're healing and restoring your integrity of your healing, and that doesn't mean just wasting your seed with anybody, brothers, and sisters too, not just holding space to anybody in your sacred space. And I think that's very important. And to speak to the brothers, I think that brothers, y'all are sacred. I want to just take a moment and speak some life into my brothers. Brothers, y'all are sacred, and you're powerful, and you're mighty, and you're valuable. And your seed, okay, is sacred, and your breathing and your existence is sacred. And not every we're outnumbered by a lot of beautiful women on the planet, right? But that does not merit you to be in a situation where you're over facilitating yourself with every opportunity that is not pouring back into you, right? And that you're draining, and then you end up damaging these sisters because you're depleted, and you waste their time and they're wasting your time. So just like we talk about how sisters take time to heal themselves, I want to encourage our brothers to do the same. Brothers, take time to recharge yourself and build internally, work on the internal building. And that way, when you are holding space with your intimate partner, you're really delving deeper into a deeper interaction that can benefit you on such a spiritual, metaphysical level, of healing and restoration. But yeah, Tiffany, I just wanted to just honor that before you continue. You got it.
Yeah, it's great. And so I put my headphones in, but I still hear the feedback.
No, I don't hear it now. You sound a bit clearer. Good. Okay. You sound clearer than me. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I just want to reiterate that like I'm so in love with men, and I think you all are so beautiful and have so much more value than what most of you accept. And
Mm,
it's the same for all of us. Like we're all learning. We're all here to tune into what our true potential is, and like just even taking it, even if you never get to your full potential, but just like keep moving in that direction. But it's really unfortunate to see people undervalue themselves and put themselves in situations that just like throw that dirt on them. Like, you're a Mercedes, baby.
mm, mm.
Yeah,
Right,
you know,
right.
got to
Yeah,
keep your car clean.
gotta keep your car clean. Can't be using crude oil in a luxury vehicle. Yeah, that's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah, they keep saying it's echo. I'm not understanding what they're talking about.
Do you have
Yeah,
headphones?
nowhere near me.
Okay.
Y'all hear the echo from me?
I hear it from me for sure, but usually
Really?
the
You
headphones
sound.
fix it.
Somebody said I'm a Maybach. That's right.
Yeah,
Tiffany,
that's right.
Tiffany, can you plug the site one more time for them and let them know
Yeah.
follow you here?
So I'm doing a course, and it starts, I'm going to put it in the chat. It
Yeah.
starts next week. We actually haven't open enrollment to it, so you guys are just finding out about it, but you can log in and go and check out the site. It's called Intimacy and Isolation, and it's a 3-week course. My partner is an actual relationship therapist, a licensed therapist. So we're going to be addressing communication, connection, and intimacy. Both her and I are tantric practitioners, so we study sex on like just as a hobby. So we've learned a lot of techniques. So we'll be teaching some sexual techniques for the men. We're going to be teaching the nines, which I think every man should know about the nines, and about building sacred space and connection. And then also just communication and like learning about different things of how you interact with the people. But it's really just about slowing everything down, right? Because confidence is slow and it's steady. Like immaturity is fast and quick because you don't want to be seen. So you're moving really quickly because
Oh.
like nobody can pin you down. You don't want to be seen. But when you're confident, you have like a stride that moves at your own pace. And so we apply that to the bedroom and to your relationships to really like change how you interact with people for yourself. Not, you know, not necessarily for about pleasing someone else, but if you can feel it inside of yourself, then you'll radiate that out when you connect with anybody. So we'll be teaching that.
Absolutely. I pinned it right here, intimacyandIsolation.com. Tiffany, and then I want you to follow Tiffany Janae here on Instagram. For those, a lot of my followers follow you already, so we have a shared audience, but there's some people coming in that are just checking with us. Please, brothers and sisters, follow Tiffany Janae here on Instagram and go to the site, because we all need to be having this awareness to heal. You know, you mentioned earlier, Tiffany, about how majority of our experiences through sexuality have come through the rites of passage, unfortunately, of violation. You know, one thing that always my approach as a lover has always been a lover healer. No matter how freaky I've been in my relationships, I've always been a lover healer. Whether I'm my Rick James incarnation or my Prince Adore incarnation, right? I'm always bringing the healing. And mainly, you know, I think at a very early age, right? When I think I was probably 14, 15. And I remember having conversations with different women I was dating. You know, I was young. I was a little wild kid when I was in high school. I had mad girlfriends when I was in high school, but they all knew about it. I didn't hide nothing. But one thing that made me real humble to the women I was dealing with when I was little was they all were molested and raped. And I said, wow. And it kind of, it made me feel real sad, you know, and it made me, and I remember asking my mom a lot of questions on intimacy from a woman's perspective, you know, because I know, you know, a lot of the men around me were teaching me, you know, some basic tenets. But my mother just, you know, just put so much game on me, you know, on you know, the art of communication, listening, and being, you know, being slow, being patient, and you know, hearing so many, every woman, I mean, 99% of women I've ever known and ever was intimate with have been mishandled, you know. And I think that because I was Now, some brothers may be numb to it because they may have a level of violation. You know, I can say that I have not been numb to that because I have never been touched inappropriately as a young man. I'm blessed to say that. A lot of my brothers have, because they tell me, and a lot of brothers, heterosexual brothers, strong brothers, right? But they have been violated, and part of even the hardness comes from them, feeling to protect themselves.
Totally.
So I never judged other brothers, who shared that violation with me. I've always tried to be a brother of support and healing brothers through me just sharing tenets of how to heal and restore that into themselves. And then women that I was intimate with, I've always had this safe space of really wanting to take my time and be patient. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that has been robbed, and it's always made me feel so, I just felt really bad about that. That all of these amazing women have been, like, the level of toxicity that we're all living in, for every woman that I ever known to be molested and raped, and I was talking to a few brothers, as I got older and stuff, and had my, my growing pains with my relationships. I would talk to more brothers about this, and they would share with me, man, a lot of brothers who, from my tribe of thinking, feel the same way. A lot of sisters have been mishandled and violated. Now, when I speak to brothers, right, some of the early growing pains that some of the brothers that I spoke to have had with women, men like myself that have created a safe space for women to be transparent and heal with, right? They would, like you said, I think you mentioned earlier, they were so used to lovers through the lens of abuse, right? Where when men like myself would show up, that to share that space, we were not really exalted and really given the support. You know what I'm saying? Because they were used to a certain caliber of men based upon the frequency of abuse, And so they were so caught up in, oh my OMG, I can't believe you're real, right? That they missed the opportunity, right? And so a lot of brothers have shared that with me too. Like, man, I don't know, man. I've had early on, I've had this awakening, to bring a healing aspect to my relationships, But I felt that, that has not really been supported, me being the healer. So some men have the natural healing, and then they revert back to the damaged man because they think, well, in order to get my dime and keep her, I got to play the role and show up as the damaged lover, the alpha damaged lover. And meanwhile, he keeps the alpha healer locked up because he thinks that, well, the last 5 women chased the healing me away, right? So they love me being the killer. They don't want me being the healer. You know what I mean? But yet, they write poetry about the healer. They vision about the healer. They dream about the healer. They go to healing circles and talk about the healer. But when the healer shows up, they just be wanting to kill her. Totally psycho shit, right? So but these are the conversations that are being had, and this is why when I speak, I never speak to sisters from a blaming place. I just speak from a place of opening up a possibility, right? To know that have faith in when you speak in your subconscious mind, your tears mean something. So when you show up and you show up as a man that says he wants to heal, that is the time to face yourself as a healer, right? So you can't say all your tears, all your cries that you want a healing man, right, to come in, or a man that's going to listen and facilitate this. But now he finally shows up, you in so disbelief, you chase him away. No, sisters, be courageous, stand up and be confident in yourself that you attracted a conversation with another person that is actually there to show you a beautiful mirror that both of you can expand the reflection on, And I say this to you because this is a lot of brothers come to me with it. Like, man, I'm trying to convince them not to hide because they're running back, reverting to the old patterns because they're thinking that their women won't receive them, right? In who they really, in their authentic self. They say, man,
I want to say something right there.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a term for that. It's called imposter syndrome.
Woo! Deep.
So,
What's that? Open it up.
So imposter syndrome is basically when you attract something that is great or a beautiful opportunity, there's a part of you that will say like, I'm going to go ahead and ruin this before they expose me and realize that I'm not actually worthy of this, right?
Woo!
And so then you might actually end up sabotaging yourself, or like, oh, I didn't even really try, that's why I didn't get it. But if I did try, I would have got it, right? All of that is imposter syndrome. And the majority of us, for some reason, we have that. So what you're speaking of when these men are saying like, well, I showed up for this woman and, you know, I was this and that. But she didn't accept me. She didn't see me as that. She wouldn't allow me to stay in that space. Well, it could be a situation where she's sabotaging it because she's dealing with an imposter syndrome, and she may not even know it. And so it's important for us to set up accountability partners, because your partner is not supposed to be your therapist. Like, your partner can do a lot of things for you, but work through deep psychological issues and programmings and abuse is not really something that an average person is equipped to deal with, simply because they're saying they love you and they want to create with you. And so we all need to have our own accountability partners. And if that's a therapist or that's an elder, like I've gone to mom with my shit, you know, and like we need to get on this call, and you and your brother, and you know, we've done this. And so that's something that I've created in my life. But I have a therapist now that I actually go through, and it's actually something that is going to be part of my relationship standards when I get into my next intimate relationship with someone. They have to have their own level of accountability partners, because we all, no matter how much green juice you drink or how many squats you do, you still have a level of toxicity in you that needs to be dealt with. And that may not be your partner's, within your partner's realm to deal with that shit. Your partner could be your nourisher and they could be your cheerleader, but it's not their responsibility to be your therapist. And so we need to get out of the mindset of like, your partner needs to be everything for you. That is not possible. Like, if you are an admin, you are not trained to be a therapist. So just because you're loving someone, that's not for you to handle that. So when we're dealing with something like, say, imposter syndrome, even myself, like I have a PTSD. So there's things, if you raise your voice at a certain level, I'm going to respond in a certain way, because I've had trauma in my life from the time that I've been a child, you know, and things that have been deemed as normal. Like I was a child who got whoopings all the time. And in our culture, you know, that's just normal, but that shit's not normal, to be beat on by someone or to be threatened. And so like I have PTSD from just being born, right? And then all of the things that I went through from there, the relationships that I've attracted, because that was the frequency that I was raised on, then I've attracted that and I've perpetuated that. So even as great as someone might come to me and be like, oh my God, you're amazing, you got it all figured out, I don't. I know some shit, but I don't have everything figured out. And I'm inevitably going to lace my partners with some bullshit that they may not want to like feel good about. And that's why it's important for me to have someone that I can go to that supports my own mental health, and so that I can approach my partner from a different position other than like, well, you love me, so you have to deal with all this shit. So those are two things I want to give to you guys is imposter syndrome. Look that up and learn about that. Because when you learn about it, then you can figure out how to rise above it and how to begin to heal it. And then also setting up your own level of accountability partners. It's just a really good look to have.
Powerful. Wow. Thank you, beloved. I pinned Sister Tiffany Janae's site, intimacyinisolation.com. intimacyinisolation.com. Family, as soon as you're done here, please go and support our beloved sister's site. Follow Tiffany Janae here on Instagram at Tiffany Janae, and also inbox her. She does consultations for men and women. Okay. And wow, Tiffany, this was such a awesome drive-by. This was sponsored by my Rick James t-shirt. Okay. CBD. What else we talked about? Melatonin, chamomile tea, and Tiffany Janae. Because
yes, and
I started this whole
aloe vera.
I started
great lube
and good old aloe. I'm gonna see if I can screen record some of that bill from the last live and get that up there, sis, so they can definitely check that out. What I was gonna say, family, make sure you go to our beloved sister's site and check her out. enroll. This healing modality is very necessary and it's very timely. We need that. Tiffany, I appreciate you, beloved. I'm so excited. Kazi said aloe,
Absolutely, Kazi.
aloe over KY. You want to talk about that one more time for the people just coming in who did not catch the last live? So Tiffany was talking about how you can use the aloe plant with your intimacy with with your partner. Tiffany, can you talk about the aloe and why this is? What can we use?
Look, I can show you better than I could tell you, baby. You see that? So this is an actual aloe I just picked in my backyard, and but you could buy it at a grocery store. And so you just cut open it and take off the sides, the green, and then you get this fillet. So this is actually good for ingesting. Nova does a bunch of videos about ingesting this and the health benefits of that. But you can also take this and put this right into the yoni. And it's going to, the yoni acid is going to break this down and assimilate this into, to basically just recreating your natural juices. And it's really great. So you can see the consistency of it, and it feels amazing. And it's really healthy for you. So put yoni in there. No more KY. Put aloe in your yoni.
Aloe, yeah. No, also leave the KY and get the aloe.
Yeah.
God's lubricant. We appreciate you, Tiffany. All right,
I appreciate you.
Somebody said you put it on your face, put it in the yoni. Brothers, eat the yoni and the aloe. We appreciate y'all, family. Welcome, salute to the family. Tiffany, Janae, plug this site just from your mouth so they can hear it one more time.
Yeah, it's Intimacy and Isolation. So it's a 3-week course that's starting next week, and it's by donation only, so anybody can join. And it's to give you information on connection, communication, and intimacy. So we'll be teaching some actual tantric techniques. My partner that's doing it with me is an actual therapist, a practicing therapist. So we'll be teaching some real techniques that you can use to help you improving your connection with your partnerships with yourself, and then also helping you to learn some actual like real life techniques that you can bring into the bedroom so that you can move beyond friction sex, because that shit's dead.
Come on, that is dead. And Kazi, the yoni is vegan. It's a superfood. Holla. Wellness salute. All right, family. Appreciate you, Tiffany.
Good night.